Hi, and welcome to another fabulous episode of the Do Something Indie Show. Yes, it's episode 27. That's over a half of year of shows. I cannot believe we are still around. But you know what time it is. It's Wednesday, and that's time for the Do Something Indie Show. Tonight we have good guests. We have two repeat guests. These are guests that have been, actually Hank Powell has been on the Your Voice, Your Call. You remember that show? That was a pretty cool show. Now Chris Moore does that show, and he has also taken it to the Patriots soapbox, who's gone national. I mean, hey, he got out of my shadow and was able to do something. See what I did there? Do something? That's pretty funny. But anyway, and then we have Sharrona Moore. She was on an episode last 2 times ago about the Lawrence Community Gardens. So today we're going to see what they are doing together to help Hank out with his garden and bring fresh produce to their communities. So let's get to that video, see what it's all about. Hi, this is John Schmitz with Do Something Indie, and I'm here. This is actually our first repeat show of guests that have been on the show.
Lucky us.
I mean, Hank has been on a couple of my shows,
right.
And Sharrona was just on the start of this series on community gardens. And so I wanted to bring this back around because it is gardening season. And, last week we had the Mars Hill Community Garden, and things are going. But I'm here with Hank and Sharrona, and there's a correlation here. And first we'll start with Hank. And Hank, tell us about what you've been doing and where the garden is and what your plans are.
So here we are at the Global Culture Garden. This is 2063 Yandees. We're right in the Martindale, Brightwood neighborhood. And we've been on this land for about 2 years now. At this current point, we've had some help from Indiana Black Farmers Co-op to get it off the ground, if you will. The pandemic has kind of stepped in our way and slowed down our volunteer help. But what we have going on is we've got 10 beds here, and what we want to do is teach the neighborhood and feed the neighborhood. We've got opportunities for the people around here to come and learn how to grow and live off the land. And also, when we have produce, make it at first available to the people in this food desert. And we're trying to create this sustainable model that can move from community to community and work just as simple as that. The people who work in the garden are first chosen to benefit from the goods. And then if we can't get them, we're going to have just the neighborhood folk in here to help us raise everything that we grow here, and then probably put it on for sale right at the garden at some kind of a stand, or we'll be at their doors saying, hey, we've got this produce, do you have access? That's the goal here, is to teach the neighborhood and feed the neighborhood.
Yeah, and you speak about community. That's where Sharrona comes in with the Lawrence Community Garden, and she's going to send somebody down to help you. Sharrona, can you tell us about that?
So Lawrence Community Garden is at 9240 East 46th Street. We're right off the corner of, I'm going to take this off. We're right off the corner of 46th and Post Road, right behind the go-kart place. So this year, we haven't allowed any volunteers at our farm due to the pandemic situation. We are using more precaution than ever. And what we decided to do was reach out to some of our community partners and see if they would provide us with some crisis funding so that we could bring the youth in to work the farm in the interim time and to help get the garden started up. And it's been working out well because our youth are being homeschooled and they need the outlet, and quite frankly the extra income helps them to not be in their parents' pockets. Reduces youth crime and also raises their awareness of healthy eating. And we teach them some extended season extension skills above and beyond what they learned during the regular summer program. So they learn how to get early starts on seedlings, they learn about succession planting, things like that right now. And we're hoping that we can get more of our community partners to invest in our program so that we can provide 10 youth for this farm and a mentor for this farm. So we are looking for people to sponsor our youth at $300 per youth. $250 of that money goes directly to the youth. The $50 goes for their mentor to help keep their mentors' pockets nice while they take their time out to help educate and facilitate these youth learning opportunities.
And it is really a great program. And if you want to volunteer, you can come volunteer and at either one of these spots because we always need some help. And I'm going to get out there and come see you guys. I mean, I don't just come do an interview and leave, right?
Right.
You know, and I'll come get my broken down tractor and just see. Don't you love that when you borrow something from somebody and it just falls apart?
Oh my God! But we have been able to use the tractor to move around some compost, which is really important. We got a lot of land, and we have to move stuff around, and we don't have any equipment of our own. So, your help has been very important.
What I'm going to do right here, I'm going to try to get a little fun going to get a newer tractor to do this because I have the rotor tiller for it and all that.
Which we used here.
We used it. It worked great here, Hank. What was the problem? We'll get up there. It's like, beautiful. Oh my gosh.
It wasn't ready for our land. It wasn't ready for the massive amounts of.
It was. Well, in all honesty, it was an old tractor, and I bought it used, and the bugs just didn't quite get worked out. So no harm, no foul. We'll get it fixed. That's life with the farmer.
That's life at the farmer.
I mean, I feel like Ebb on Green Acres with my duties here about coming through for you. But these programs are great, folks, and it's in these times when we have this epidemic going, that our kids are sort of homeschooled or whatever. I mean, hey, if you're homeschooling right now, I know where you can find an agriculture
right.
Yeah,
right.
And guess what? Those kids are going to be out of the house for how long? You usually start at 7 a.m. until
7 to 12.
Yeah, so
Monday through Friday.
That's some peace and quiet that you could have. I mean, I can see the gears turning in your head right now. And I don't care if you live in the district, come drive your kid up here. We want to see you.
Yeah.
So, and we'll have that contact info on here. And let's just talk a little bit of gardening. And this is where Sharrona. My Sharrona. That was terrible.
That's okay. I answer to Sharrona.
Sharrona.
I don't have the energy that I used to say that's not my name.
Right.
If it's close, I answer.
Yeah. So my Sharrona. Tell us some of the things. I know we had a frost back, and you were talking about the frost sort of got a few things, but tell us some of the things that you grow there, and just a brief background on some of that stuff, and some of the stuff that you want to have down here at the Yandy's garden.
Okay, so we are very conscious about our community, right? So we kind of look at the dynamics of our community. What are the ethnic backgrounds of the people in our community? What type of things do they like to eat? Our community is mostly black and brown. So we've got blacks, Hispanics. We've got Caucasian and Asian too, but we've got more blacks and Hispanics. So we grow things that our community likes to eat. If we want to grow food, we're going to make sure we grow food that our community is going to want to eat. We don't grow a lot of arugula because that's not going to go over well with the pantry because we donate a lot of our food to the pantry.
I don't even know what that is. What is that?
Exactly. And that's what people say when they come to the
arugula.
pantry.
Bitter leafy green.
It's a bitter leafy.
It sounds like a horn on an old car.
Right.
Aruga. I don't want no horn. I want food.
So our community, they like collard greens, mustard greens, turnip greens. We grow lettuce, tomatoes, bell peppers, hot peppers, cucumbers, squash, zucchini. We grow eggplants. We grow an abundance of garlic and onions because there are winter crops that we can store and have income for the winter. We grow Swiss chard. We grow broccoli. You name it, we grow it.
They grow it. And one of the things you brought on the show with me was your seasoning salt. And that is interesting because if you have some stuff, I listen, my Sharrona. I listen. I'm not just a pretty talk show host.
Right.
You take the stuff that you don't use and you grind that up into salt-free seasoning salts.
Yep.
Oh, really?
And that is like really cool. Yeah, you didn't bring some for Hank, did you?
I didn't bring any for
Hank.
Hank. I'll bring some next
I've been
time.
gone, I understand.
Yeah, okay. Show Hank some love.
We also show those techniques to our youth. So you're going to have, and even if you start your backyard garden, you're going to have an abundance of produce. If you're putting the time and effort into it, you're going to have enough for your family and possibly to share with your neighbors and friends. But what are you going to do with your extra? So if you have extra bell peppers, they've turned red, now we can grind those and dry them. We can make our own paprika, our own chili powder. We can use our garlic, dry it, grind it. We can make garlic powder, onion powder. So we would take that and our herbs and mix them together after we've dried them and make our own homemade seasonings.
Yeah, we call it arugula. No.
He is stuck on arugula.
Yeah, whatever that stuff is. But so Hank, I know you do some other things. I mean, this is, gardening. Me and you are about the same in gardening. I got one at my house that I'm doing okay.
Right.
She's our expert. I mean, we got to lean on her. That's
Hands
for
down,
sure.
hands
But
down.
you do other things in the
Yes.
community that give us some things about the global culture that you provide.
Definitely. So we do two other things aside from trying to create gardens and food deserts. The first one, which is how we started our organization, is doing basically a quality of life project with those who are afflicted by dementia. So we're in elderly facilities, we're in mental health facilities. We're bringing them a music component, we're bringing them a social component, and we're bringing them a live art component. And all of these things work to help basically engage their mind and kind of get that spark back going that they're losing when they hit those late stages. It acts as a program that can help their family kind of retouch with their family member. So we take this to facilities across Indiana, and we do basically like an hour-and-a-half project where we use things that we've learned about art therapy and music therapy, and we combine those in a volunteer program that gives these individuals just a chance to relax. It also gives their caregivers a moment to take a break from their job. So what this does, it really does relieve caregivers. It gives families an opportunity to reconnect with their family members. And then it gives our volunteers the opportunity to use their craft. Are they a musician? Are they an artist? Are they in philosophy? Are they in mental health? We give them an opportunity to kind of see the people that they're going to be working with in their future. That's how we got the global culture off the ground, using art to unite culture. Aside from that, we do a global mobile studio project. That's our opportunity to mentor the youth. We mentor them through the arts. We teach them media production. We teach them how to take photos, how to edit photos, how to make a song, how to write a song, how to use different softwares that you might need to make a website. All these things that are skills that they don't necessarily need or get from the schooling system. It's something that they can learn outside the schooling system, but also take away from our program and have a trade immediately.
Yes.
And so two things we definitely work on.
That is awesome. And what is key here? What is the combination that you have is that you are connecting things together for the good of others.
Definitely.
You are getting people come together for a common goal or a common cause that otherwise would just be sort of no one would do that.
Right.
Or
And
thought about,
and that's why I'm really glad that you are the first duo to be back on the Do Something Indie show, because the name of this show is Do Something
Definitely.
Indie.
Exactly.
And it's about doing stuff.
That's how it
Yes.
started.
When you get out and you just started doing it, right?
Yeah.
And then you learn as you go, and it's just awesome learning it.
Yeah.
And then when you can start teaching somebody else and watching them learn.
Yeah. And then to see it get picked up, to see it, somebody brings you in but doesn't know the outcome from bringing you in. It sounds good on paper, right?
Yeah.
But then they see what happens with the people who are in their facility, and they see what the kids take away from this project and how they ask for it to come back, and then the momentum builds on what you're really doing for that community.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
Our students, we have students that this is their third season returning back to us as senior farmhands. Each year that we bring them back, we give them an increased stipend. But it's the circle of life and how everything connects is that we bring them in and we give them knowledge and skill and patience and understanding and opportunity to connect with nature and learn and love what's outside. They help us grow food. The food reaches the community by way of farmers markets,
Your
pantries. We give food away and direct to neighbor contributions and donations. And then we also take the food throughout the community on our mobile farm stand. We take those youth with us. So they get to see the business side of farming. They get to see the volunteerism side of farming, and as well as the giving and the donation side of what we do as well. That food, the programs, we have senior programs that our farm does directly. The kids sometimes don't even realize that the work that they do is benefiting the senior communities and how their work is benefiting the entire community as a whole, even how much they're learning, because we've had a few of our kids actually start their own gardens at home, and they're able to contribute to our farm stand what they grow. So that's a big accomplishment for even for our partners and our funders to see that the work that we do is actually benefiting the youth and
Yeah,
the community.
and if you go, and I hope you go, you can benefit even for one day. They're
Even
not
for
going
one
to
day.
trick you. They're not going to trick you into staying.
No.
No, but you can see how networking people together, and it just pays off. Kids need attention.
Yeah.
And they need attention. They're going to get it somewhere. They're going to get
Yeah.
it from the gangs, or they're going to get it from somewhere. But if they're doing gardening and being with somebody that's mentoring them the correct way, that takes them out of that
Yeah.
that environment of
Exactly.
bad things. Well, I appreciate both of you talking about this, and I'll probably have you on again someday.
Let's
and,
do it.
Yeah.
Look a lot different, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Let's do it later in the summer once we
yeah.
get everything going.
We get a
Right.
harvest thing going. But on that note, having an idea is the start of something.
exactly.
But the work it takes to do that is part of the do something.
It's a community.
That's what needs done. So we could use some help. Bring your kids up here. If
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and I will be up there. If you call me, I'll go with you. How's
Right.
that?
Yeah.
And call me too if you don't know enough. Find out more. Get all your questions answered. We want you to be just as thrilled about coming as we are thrilled to have you. So pick up the phone, send an email, do
Yeah.
something.
Email
Yeah,
me.
do something.
Don't
I like
call. Just email.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll have. So, come on, Mike Sharrona.
No, I'm
This is a serious show.
I was serious. I was so serious.
Okay.
Well, you can call me, all right? All right, just don't call Sharrona. Okay?
Email me.
I forgot I was going to say. You got me laughing. But I'll have. I know what it was. I'll have all this information to contact both areas. And if you have someone in need,
Yeah.
that needs some.
Absolutely.
That's in some need. That needs produce. Needs whatever.
Yes.
Give us a call.
Yeah.
I think we could be like the Three Musketeers, and we'll come fight that battle with you. Whatever.
Yeah, it's all about being vocal about what you need and what you can do.
Yeah.
And we can all mobilize.
They say
and help.
closed mouths don't get fed. So,
True.
Well, I got no problem with that. I'm always yakking.
and I'll ask for anything for someone else.
Indeed.
Oh yeah.
I've learned that.
Well, hey, thanks a lot, everybody. I think that was a great episode. I love interviewing these two characters, and we'll see you next week with a new series, which I don't know what it is yet.
Hey. Up in the
Oh,
air.
wait. I do. I think I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to do this. Jonathan Lawler at Brandywine Farms. He's not so much a community gardener, but he's a unique individual. So I'm going to try to go out and get an interview with him. It is planting season, so that might be tough. But I'm going to try to get that in, and then after that, I'll have a series. But so there you go. Tune in 8 o'clock on Wednesdays to catch another fine episode of Do Something Indie.
Do something.
Don't let Sharrona kid you about her energy level. She's got plenty of energy, and she does a great job with the kids. And Hank, hey, that garden needs some work out there in Yandy's, but we're going to get some help. We're going to get it up to par, and we're going to grow some stuff this year. In fact, we still got some stuff left over from last year. Some of that kale made it through the winter. It's like crazy. It's tough. It must be some city kale. But we had a great time. I wish I could have played some of the bloopers because they're funny. I mean, we get together and we're about silly. I had to rein them in to get them to do the interview and make it what it was. But I love it, and these shows have taken some time to do, but I've really enjoyed it, and I've gotten to meet people like Hank and Sharrona, and it's just been fun. So tune in next week for another episode. And I bet you didn't notice that I have a shirt on here. This is our sponsor. Yeah, we got a sponsor, and it's like great. They're not in business anymore. It's actually my friends Mark and Dave Buck. They owned Buck Supermarket, and they sold it. And the name now is like Market at Troy or something like that. But anyway, they sponsored this. I mean, they didn't give any money, but they sponsored it. So, but if you do want to sponsor it, or if you have an idea of somebody you want to put on the show that's actually doing some things in Indianapolis that needs a little PR, I mean, I can get them a little PR. Have them call me. And then look at the information here for Sharrona and Hank, and make sure you email Sharrona because she don't want to hear from you on the phone. So thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you next Wednesday at 8 p.m.